We are talking about intimacy today, something that is a pivotal part of your marriage. And there's three secrets to it. Chris, could you go ahead and jump right in and tell us about that?
Sure, be happy to. Sarah, so I think first of all, right off the bat, I want to say this. We say secrets. What we mean by that is there's rarely ever secrets to these kinds of things, but these are really good things a lot of us know. If you're watching this from home, you probably know some of this stuff. It's just good to be reminded of it.
Right.
Yeah, so secret there, then number one is this, and this sounds so basic, but it's important. Recognize what intimacy really is, and that the fact that there are different kinds of intimacy. Because Sarah, you probably know this. When most people hear the word intimacy, they're going to think about
Sex,
sex. It
right?
equates it to sex, right? And it certainly includes sex and probably more specifically physical intimacy, but it's so much more to marital intimacy.
Mm,
That's just one piece of the puzzle. And so it helps to define it. Intimacy really is a place in the relationship. It's a practice in the relationship where a couple lets their defenses down. They are practice vulnerability with each other. They learn about who the other one is, and they allow the other person to see them, faults and all. Basically, they're allowing their spouse or allowing themselves to be seen by their spouse.
and be vulnerable is what that sounds like. Is really a big part of intimacy.
Very vulnerable, yeah, and that's why it's such a practice, because vulnerability is difficult to do, even with the one you love the most. And so, because of that, intimacy is something that is not just you don't arrive there. It's
Yeah.
done throughout the course of marriage, and it's what makes the marriage journey so exciting and helps it to grow and develop.
Yeah, it sounds like it's an ongoing thing. And to do that, I mean, you have to build a strong connection with that person.
You do, and that's secret number two. It is all about connection, and to be more specific, intentional connection. Because I mean, you know how it is. At the very first year or two of your marriage, it's easier to connect. But
Hmm.
as time goes on, you have to be more intentional. I think this is really helpful to understand that there are more than one kind of intimacy, therefore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the research out there says that the researchers and the clinicians will uh, divide intimacy up into different kinds of parts, and they do it
You know
different
those
ways.
off the top of your head?
Yeah, so ones that I've seen in different sources, there's physical intimacy, but there's emotional, what some people call affective. There's intellectual intimacy, spiritual intimacy, recreational. I was just reading an article last night that they split it up between physical, verbal, and affective or emotional. And all that is to say, it's all different ways of intentionally connecting,
Hmm.
right? Um, and so, how do you do that? How do you pour into these different levels of intimacy? There's all the things that we know: communication, practicing understanding, quality time, quantity time, having fun and laughter, showing affection,
Yeah.
touch, all those things.
Laughing together. I mean, I love the recreational intimacy as part of that because I think when you play together and you laugh together, it's like you kind of go back to that childhood just joy. And
Mhm.
when you experience that with somebody else, I mean, you can't beat a feeling like that.
There's something about laughter, and there's here again a good bit of research has been done on playfulness and laughter and fun. It brings people together,
Yeah.
and they've done. I saw an article the other day about that, on the effect of friendships, and we all know that when you have fun with your friends, you feel closer. The same is totally true, even possibly more so with your spouse.
Yeah, just last night, my husband and I, were cracking jokes right before we went to sleep and just laughing with our heads on the pillow. And
Yeah.
I literally had rolled over and told him, I'm just like, I'm so glad that we got to laugh together before bed. This was so unexpected, but it kind of puts you at ease too. It
Yeah.
just reminds you that you can be comfortable with the other
Mm-hmm.
person. How do you kind of keep these fluid in your relationship?
Well, a lot of times we think it's the big things that really do that. We've got to make these big grand gestures of intimacy, and that's good. Still surprise them with the big birthday bashes, still surprise them with the vacations. That's
Right.
cool, but you don't experience that every day. What research has said, and we find this a lot from a man named Dr. John Gottman, who's a marriage researcher and an expert and clinician. He has what he calls the golden rule of relationships, and it's three simple words: small things often.
Hmm.
In other words, it's the small actions that are practiced on a daily basis that really is the biggest predictor for keeping things alive in your romance and in your intimacy and in your connection and all those things. That's what grows and builds intimacy every day. It's just the small things.
Yeah, like if you know that your spouse is a coffee drinker, bringing them coffee in the morning, waking up and saying, I love you, emptying out the dishwasher when the other person was busy or not expecting it.
The other day, my wife made me chocolate chip cookies
Oh,
just
come
because.
on.
And I got to tell you, uh, um, intimacy shot through the roof. I was like, I love you. I feel connected to you. You know my heart and my
Right.
stomach. And yeah, it was good stuff.
And
It's just
that's the way
good.
to it. Right. I think too, one of the things that you have to do with intimacy is you got to keep things fresh,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's secret number 3. Keep things new, keep things fresh. Introduce new things into your marriage. Always be looking for new ways to connect. It's not necessarily just about the experiences, Sarah. Like, let's go do something that we don't always do. That's fine, but the intention is to connect through these things. So frame it in a way where you say, we're going to look for new ways to connect together, new experiences. Pursue your spouse with communication and things that you learn about your spouse. Somebody has said this in where we work, and it's really good. Become an understudy of your wife or your husband, because there's always things to learn about
I
them,
love
and
that.
that's what builds the intimacy. And I heard somebody say this the other day, and I love it: never stop dating your spouse.
I
I
feel like
mean,
that is the best advice that can be given.
yeah, yeah. Uh, we remember what it's like in the dating years, where things were just, everything was just so wonderful and all this, and now we're married and life happens. We can break out of that. We can
Absolutely.
totally keep things new and fresh and continue dating and continue doing these things. It takes a little bit of work, but it's so worth it.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you talking to us about intimacy, and I hope for all of you that these reminders, these secrets that aren't so secret when you are in the pursuit of loving your spouse well, really keeps the intimacy alive. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.